long minute this time. All right. Hello there. This is Jen T. Grace, founder of Publish Your Purpose and the Institute for Author Growth and Impact. And I'm here with Amanda Walsh today, and we are talking about your new book, Amanda. How are you?
I'm doing great, Jen. Thank you for having me. This is so much fun to be in the position of the book is actually alive and we're having this conversation.
Yeah, and it's gorgeous. Like it really, I have the visual for folks, and I'll make sure that because it's lifebythestars.com that people can check out your book later. But your book, it just came out so beautiful, and I'm so excited because we have been on a long journey together, and we're now here.
You can say that again.
Yeah. So let's just kind of start about a little bit of your background. Like there's so many things I want to ask you about, but we'll be methodical. Start with a little bit of your background, then we can talk about the book.
The background, like as it stands right now, like I'm the founder of Astrology Hub.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm the founder of Astrology Hub. I'm the mother of 2 daughters. I just wrote Life by the Stars. Astrology Hub is a global astrological community and school. So for people that want to learn how to read charts and as a hobby or as a profession, I love to say it's the go-to place for that, at least for Western astrology mainly. And so I've been doing that for about 10 years. We have the Astrology Hub podcast, which has well over 13 million downloads at this point. I've been doing that. I interview some of the world's best astrologers and have been doing that very consistently for many, many years. And I live on Maui.
That's amazing. I love all of that. And so what I love the most about this work is that I get to support authors, because my previous work, I was like in consulting and I was very niche and narrow. And with authors, I can work on any topic with any goal, with any personality. And I love nothing more that when I'm working with someone and it intersects with something that I'm just like, is like a hobby of mine as well. So I feel like working with you just over for a while now, like just getting to like learn like just different kind of like ways that you think about things and how you construct things and just, about Astrology Hub in general. So I love all of that. And why this book? Why a memoir? Why now? Like give us the details.
All right. I did not set out to write a memoir. And if it had all gone the way I thought it would go, this book would have come out in like 2020 or 2021. So, Jen, that I reached out to you in 2019 to join one of your coaching cohorts that you were doing at the time, because I really wanted to write a book. And because I had been interviewing astrologers and there were so many like golden nuggets that would come out of these interviews. And so I felt like I had this treasure trove of conversations that I had had. So my original idea was that I was going to be taking the transcripts of those interviews and like really distilling and curating and pulling out some of the gems from those interviews. So that was my idea in 2019 when I reached out to you. And that's what we started doing. I was going through all the transcripts. I was highlighting, I was pulling things. And then 2020 happened. And that was, I don't need to remind everybody of what went down in 2020, but my kids couldn't go to school anymore. So they were at home and I had one day to write. They were little at the time. God, how many years ago was that? Anyways, like 10 and 7 or something, Yeah. Or maybe even younger, but so they were home from school now. And I lost my one writing day that I had Wednesdays. That was my day. And we would have our call and then I would use the rest of the day to write. And I was loving the process, but then all of a sudden that got erased. So I just put the book and the idea on the shelf. And then it just continued to haunt me. I mean, I remember writing you an email that was like, the book is haunting me. Like I can't not do this.
Yeah.
So I started to go back to it in 2023. And it was basically like, okay, this is the year I'm going to write the book. And I used an astrological transit to time it. So it was Jupiter went into Gemini. Anyone who knows astrology, my Jupiter is in Gemini. So it was like my Jupiter return. Jupiter is like benevolence and really a lot of expansion. And Gemini is definitely writing and communicating. And so I was like, ooh, perfect. Okay. Jupiter's in Gemini for a year. So I'm like, I have a year.
I got
I started writing in the summer because my girls were out of school. So I was like, I'm
Mhm.
not doing carpool every morning. I'm good in the morning. So I
Mhm.
wanted to write in the morning. So all this came together. And at the time, I hired a coach, another writing coach. I gave her all the transcripts and I was like,
Mhm.
I'm like halfway done with this book.
Yeah, you're like, "Yes, I can see the
Yes,
finish line."
I can see the finish line. And I was like, here, I'm going to start with my story, just a little bit about my story. And then I'm going to go into the meat of the book. Right. And I
Mhm.
have all the transcripts. She reads it and goes, I want to challenge you. My challenge to you is to write your story in a way that you've never told it.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Oh, no.
You're like,
This
"Why?"
means I'm at 0." Like,
Mhm. Yep.
I thought I was, like, 50% done, and she's like,
Mhm.
"No, go back to the drawing board, write" it's because when you tell your story, there's, like, a way that you're used to telling it. And
Mhm.
you have
Oh,
your,
yeah.
like, short version, you have your if you have a little more time, you have your longer version.
Yeah.
So, I was used to telling my backstory, and
Uh-huh.
she's like, "No, tell it like you haven't told it before." So, I accepted the challenge, and I started just asking, if I were to tell this story in a totally different way, how would I tell it?
Mhm.
And Jen, I was so shocked at what happened because what happened was dialogue started coming in,
Mhm.
scenes started coming in. Like I was able to actually relive so many of the stories from my story. And I can barely remember what I ate for breakfast
Yeah.
today, let alone what I was wearing when I had XYZ conversation, how the
Yeah.
light filtered into the room, how the other person responded, what the look was on their face, but it all came flooding back.
It's
And so
amazing.
I was able to tell this story in a way that reads almost like fiction,
Mhm.
but it's nonfiction.
Yeah.
And I just had so much fun. I had so much fun with it. Anyway, so that all happened. Of course, the whole entire process took way longer than the year that I thought it would. But that year, I did write the manuscript and actually start on the editing process.
Mhm.
And then it wasn't published until 2026. So yes.
Well, I have to just commend you because you could have said to that editor, "No. I want to write it. I want to proceed with the way that I thought that this made sense," but which is what a lot of authors do, and
Mm,
then the book isn't as successful as it could be, right?
mm.
So, like, you kind of, like, went with the guidance of someone being of, like, really just giving you that challenge and saying, "You know what? Challenge accepted. I'm gonna try to see if there is a different way to do this," versus just digging your heels in and being like, "No, this is the way I've always done it."
Well, if it hadn't flowed the way it did, I
Mhm,
might have questioned her pushback.
mhm.
But because that question really opened up the floodgates,
Yeah.
I went, "Oh, I mean, maybe" and I did stick my heels in. I remember going out to dinner with a friend and just being so sad and disappointed
Mhm,
that because I was hoping that the feedback would be, "Oh, yes, you're 50% done, just
mhm,
fill out this, flush out that, you're almost there." So, I definitely had my moment of resistance, but then
mhm.
once I got over myself, then
Yeah.
it was like, "Okay, let's try this and let's just see what happens."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so when you look at what the book was that you were writing
yeah.
versus the book that I'm physically like holding today, what does this one look like that the other one didn't?
Well, this one is my heart on my sleeve. This one is vulnerable. This one is intimate. This one is personal. This one is is very transparent. Whereas the other one, I would have stayed in my role as the host of the podcast,
Mhm,
the one who is always shining the spotlight on everyone else, which I love to do,
mhm.
and it would have been very comfortable.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course. That'd be the easy way.
So comfortable, and
Yeah.
I think people would have really liked it. I
Mhm.
think it
Oh,
would have been
sure.
a good book, and maybe it will happen someday still.
Mhm.
But it would have been way less challenging for me personally to put that book out.
Mhm. And what do you think it is about you that was like in for the challenge? Because not everybody is.
Whew, because when I lived through so many of the stories that I tell in that book, there was always this voice in my head
Mm,
saying, "If you can get through this and not only survive, but thrive, like
mhm,
become the best version of yourself on the other side of it,
mhm.
your story will help other people."
Mm. Yeah.
you will be able to extend your hand out to other people in similar circumstances, divorce, financial ruin, existential crisis, like
Mhm,
feeling completely lost and just having no idea what your entire life is for.
mhm,
You'll be able to hold a hand out to those people and say, "You're not alone. This is
mhm,
part of the process of transformation. You are in a process of becoming. You can emerge on the other side of this better than you ever were before."
mhm,
And so I felt like that has always been in me, and that was even why, the other book was gonna start with a little bit of my story.
mhm.
I was gonna tell the story a little bit,
Yeah.
but it wasn't gonna be, like, from the a guttural from the inside out, where,
Mhm.
like, the reader feels like they're there with me through
Yeah,
the process.
yeah.
So I just I think I knew I had to somewhere deep
Mhm.
down.
Mhm. Yeah, and that alone is more than enough to
Right.
decide to go that path.
Yeah.
So your book officially launched on May 22nd. At least at the time of this recording, it's July 1st. In the period of time that has happened, have you heard any feedback specifically that has surprised you, or are there any stories in here that you were expecting someone to say something about and they didn't, or vice versa? Like, what's the, I guess, the curiosity that's occurred?
It is amazing to me to hear from people of all ages, from all over the globe, from very different kinds of backgrounds, saying, "I see myself in your story."
Mm,
It's fascinating to me
mhm,
because it makes me realize that we have so much more in common than
mhm,
we realize. We all struggle with the same. I think of it as like an auto commentary in our heads that convinces us that we're small, that we're incapable, that there's something wrong with us, but we also all share this desire and actually I would say a deeper knowing that that probably isn't true. That
mm,
we are more than we realize, that we
mhm,
did come here to do and be and experience things, and that longing that we feel, that yearning is also real. So
mhm,
I it's been amazing to me. I mean, I have like someone who's 75 years old who, maybe is in Singapore, and
mhm,
was raised totally different than my very what I think of as, like, very typical all-American, I'm doing the quotes,
mhm.
kind of life,
Yeah,
saying, "I see myself in you." It's like, "Whoa, that's awesome."
yeah.
So, that has been both surprising and delightful
Mhm,
because it's really like, for me, it means much more than anything about my book. It means something about us as humans, which
mhm.
is really interesting and exciting for me to think
Yeah,
about.
it's showing the shared humanity of everything,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And I feel like when we think about books, a lot of times what I talk to folks about is it's the universal truth that we're trying to get to the bottom of. Like, you're writing your story, but
Yes.
it's the universality of that story that is what's going to attract people to it, and that's
Yes.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. That and then the other one I've loved is your story is giving me courage to to break to break away from places where I feel I'm too comfortable,
Mm,
where I feel I have just accepted mediocrity or just accepted that this might just be the way life is.
mm,
And I love that too.
yeah.
Part of the book launch, we called it the Living by the Stars journey, which was like an immersive book club
Mhm,
where I brought the book to life in a way with like music, with chanting, like with certain things, because I a lot of the book really celebrates the connection that I have with Hawaii
mhm,
and the experience of moving here and really embracing the culture and another story. But anyways, bringing it to life, like an experiential way. We did a lot of the practices from the book that I did throughout these periods of time in the story. And so many of the people that went through the journey are like, I'm already doing things differently than I
mm,
was doing it before. I'm already getting out of my comfort zone. I'm already dreaming bigger, really like thinking maybe the best is yet to come.
Mhm.
versus, oh, that time in my life was so great.
Mhm.
Like, what if the best is still ahead of me? And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh God, I love that. So it's
Mhm.
that kind of thing has been so amazing for me to experience from the people who are reading it.
And it's been like 6 weeks. Like,
I
how
know.
freaking cool is that? That it's been, like, such a short window, and you've
Yeah,
already had that much change and impact. And especially if that wasn't really what was leading you to do it this way anyway, right? It wasn't like you were thinking, "How can I make sure that," like, because I think sometimes when it's too manufactured, when
right.
it's too like, "I need somebody to feel like they can get divorced because they read this chapter." Like,
Oh,
that was
right.
not any of your that was
No,
just wasn't even part of it,
no.
and because you wrote it in such a universally understandable and accessible way.
Thanks, Jen. Yeah, and I really do I believe that when we write or speak our truth from the most authentic, genuine place within us, that it automatically unlocks potential in other people.
Mhm,
We don't actually have to do much
mhm,
besides be in that place and be willing to express from that place. You could say the place of heart, you
mhm,
could say the place of authenticity. I don't whatever resonate language resonates, but I think because that's the actual natural design
mhm,
of all of us. So when we're living that design, it works. Like
mhm,
this works. The
mhm,
earth works. Humanity works. It all will come together. It's when
mhm,
we're living out of alignment, when we're not living from those places, when we're afraid to express, because for whatever reason, we all have a lot of reasons to
mhm.
be fearful of that.
Yeah.
But when we overcome that each on our own, and then we speak from that place, from a kind place
Mhm.
within us, and I don't mean nice, I mean kind. And
Yeah.
there's a real big distinction there. It just it's like a magic key. It
Mhm.
just unlocks the hearts of the other people.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, when it's manufactured, there's an agenda. Like
Mhm.
already it's not quite pure.
And I think readers can pick up on that. They might not be able to articulate what
Right.
they're seeing, experiencing, feeling,
Right.
but they know that something might feel manufactured.
100%. And
Mhm.
I think that we are even more aware of that right now
Mhm.
because of AI, because of, because
Mhm.
there's so much happening around us that's already making us question what we see, what we hear, the
Mhm.
truth of what people are saying, all that. Is it even the person saying the things? This. So
Yeah.
our radar is on high alert
Mhm.
already. So I think that it's even more like as we move into the future, it's even more important, but also even more powerful
Yeah.
for each individual to find that place in them and to live from that place.
Mhm.
And then just like I said, it's like you become a a more magnetic version of who you are.
Mhm.
And it's not changing yourself. It's who you actually are. And
Mhm.
we can look back to our childhood. I mean, not everyone experienced this in childhood, but a lot of people did. That when
Mhm.
they were in themselves, there was this natural innocence, a natural curiosity, a natural hope,
Mhm.
a natural magnetism. Like look at how hard is it to not look at a baby? Like
Mhm. Mhm.
it's like boom, like I just want to be in that essence.
Yeah.
That never left any of us.
Yeah.
It's there. It's just gotten crowded by a lot of other BS.
Yeah.
So we I honestly I think the intention and the just the intention alone to find that place in
Mhm.
each person saying, I want to know that part of me, it'll lead you on different paths. For me, it led me to astrology, but
Yeah.
that isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
Like there are so many paths to
Sure.
your essence, and to the truth of who you are. I love astrology because it feels like a cheat code in a way.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
it's like a fast track,
Yeah.
but but it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you doing? And obviously people can read the book and experience the whole thing for themselves, but what were you doing that got you to that place of unlocking, like, in your case, astrology was where you landed, but, like, what were you asking yourself or reflecting on? Or, like, what was the thing that
Oh,
somebody might be able watching this might be able to say, "You know what? I need to think about that."
okay. Such a great question, Jen. the story in the very beginning and a recurring symbol throughout the book is the mirror. Because when I was 10 years old, and I remember this, like, I feel like there's these childhood moments. I don't know if you have these too, Jen. I call them my highlighter moments, where
Mm-hmm.
like there's a sea of memories. Like, think of how many
Yeah.
memories we have, but there's certain ones that just pop and
Mm-hmm.
you remember that.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm 10 years old, height of like the awkward phase. It's the 80s. I got some crazy stuff going on, but I'm looking in the mirror. And for the first time, I'm not looking at my appearance.
Mm.
I remember looking directly into my eyes and asking this question: who are you?
Mm.
I didn't get anything back. So I leaned in and I said, no, really, who are you?
Mm.
And this was my first like existential question, like
Yeah.
the question that was beyond what I could see, taste,
Mhm.
feel, touch. And that I didn't know it at the time, but that question became a guiding force throughout my life. I
Mm.
studied every world religion you possibly could imagine. I took every class. I was born and raised 13 years Catholic school. So I was like, Catholicism
Yeah.
was my beginning, but it never made sense to me. Like, there was so
Mhm.
much, I was just like, doesn't make sense to me. It didn't land in my heart. So I looked and I looked and I looked and nothing really did. That led me to psychology. I got
Mhm.
my master's in organizational psychology. I was like, maybe psychology has the answers. That didn't answer the
Mm.
question. And so I eventually I build this whole life in New York City. This, I kind of put the question on the shelf
Mm.
because people would say to me, well, that's the question humans have been asking forever, and there really is no answer. I'm like,
Oh.
okay, I guess there's no answer. So I put it on the shelf. I climbed the ladder of success, the one that I saw people doing all around me that seemed to lead to that fulfillment that I was really yearning for, that peace and fulfillment and happiness. So I built this huge empire in New York City, and I had, quote unquote, everything, all of the trappings of success.
Mhm.
And then I had a waking vision. In the waking vision, it was like I call it my Ebenezer Scrooge moment, where I got visited mainly by the ghost of Christmas future,
Mm.
but I saw myself at a crossroads, and I saw myself staying on the same trajectory I was on. And I was literally, no joke, a caricature of the Queen of Hearts from Alice in
Mm.
Wonderland. I was a tyrant.
Mm.
I had everything I could possibly want, people darting all around me, giving me everything I wanted. And I was sitting on a throne. And in this vision, my daughter at the time was like 1. But in this vision, she was in her early 20s.
Mm.
She walked in the room. She was perfectly dressed, elegant, sophisticated, so beautiful, and cold as ice.
Mm.
And she looked at me with hatred dripping from her eyes. Just, she hated me, and I could see it and I could feel it. And we had this huge chasm between us. And it was impenetrable at that point. It was too late, right? So then I got to see another path. And no, I was not on drugs when this happened.
Good caveat.
I know it sounds super trippy, but on this other path, what I saw, I did not see the end. I could not see the end. But it was a hills that went up and down. On either side there was grass. There was a rainbow going over a trail. There was butterflies. There were
Mm.
flowers. I could see the stars. I
Yeah.
could see a North Star. And the part that just like sealed the deal for me is I saw myself hand in hand with my daughter.
Mm.
We were both wearing these white flowy dresses. At the time when I'm having this vision, you guys, I have a short, sleek, black bob.
Oh, well.
No joke. Like, this
Very
was
different vibe.
me in New York. I was like the whole New York City
Yeah.
girl. Like, I did it, the whole thing, the stilettos, all of it, right? But in this vision, we were barefoot in white flowing dresses with hair flowing behind us, dancing down the path. And it was unclear where that path was going, but I could
Yeah.
feel it. So
Yeah.
that's when I decided to blow up my life, essentially. I mean, it took 2 years to give up the ownership of my company, to move me and my husband at the time. I was pregnant with my second daughter and moved to Hawaii and like literally hit the reset button on my life. And I was, how old was I? 33. So what was your question? Oh, why? The question I was asking. Okay. So the question in the mirror, and this comes out throughout the book, and I bring it back because there's different reflections that I get throughout the story.
Yeah.
And at the darkest moment of this story, which I haven't told you yet, I'm looking in the mirror going, oh my God, is this who you really are? Like, did it really get to this? This is who you are? You know, and it was this like devastating moment. But that question, who are you really? And also, what if? Like, what if there is more? What if there is more to life? What if I'm here for more than what everyone has told me, what the culture tells me, what my family might have told me, what my whoever tells me?
Yeah.
What if that thing that I feel really deeply inside of me, what if it's legit? And what if I could go towards it? And what if going towards it is going to take me on a wild adventure that I could never imagine? And am I up for that?
Yeah. Not everyone is.
Right. And not everybody is. No, it's true. And not everybody came here to do that. I'm not advocating that everyone do what I did, because one of the things that astrology shows, like it illustrates, is that we are all here for a very unique purpose. Like, for example, my mom, she came here. Her purpose, and you can see it in the chart, she was meant to be a mother. She was meant to raise us 4 children and give it her all. And that is what she did. And she is now a grandmother, and she's like, that is her role. She loves it. She's fulfilled and peaceful with that. There is no one size fits all. And that is actually the point. There is no one size fits all. And only you know what it is that's inside of you. And so me telling you this story of what I did, it's not so that everybody does what I did, not even close. It's so that you, because the whole point is that the thing that will give us the fulfillment and the peace that we all yearn for is the thing that you came here to do, that you're meant to do, that is uniquely yours to do. And that looks as different as there are fingerprints.
Yeah. And that's why astrology and its life by the stars, like all of it makes sense. And also just want to acknowledge your cover again with the white flowing dress, walking down a path, like, gee.
I mean, honestly, like it all came together so beautifully. And like those little magical moments, you know, like seeing the cover and just being like, oh my God. I mean, here's another magical moment I have to share because it happened in the launch period. So I just told you that story of the 2 different paths that I saw. Literally the same week the book came out, my daughter was featured. My daughter that was in the vision, who was, you know, 1 or 2 at the time, who's now 17. My daughter got cast in her ballet as the Queen of Hearts.
No freaking way.
No joke.
It just
No,
got
and
chills,
it's not
by
like
the
this.
way.
It's not like, I know, it's not like this ballet school does Alice in Wonderland every year.
Yeah.
And this is her first, like, very featured, one of the lead roles. And she gets cast as the Queen of Hearts. And I just went, oh my God, like the universe is so magical. It's so, and these synchronicities and all this, all these little winks. Like when you're on path, there's these winks all the time. And there's magic and synchronicity all the time. But this one, I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. She didn't even audition for that role. And she was so delightful. She was just amazing. And we're so close. And I'm just like, thank you, God, universe, source, whatever you want to call it.
It's like the Gwyneth Paltrow movie Sliding Doors.
Yes.
From like the late 90s.
100%.
What you're describing is literally the whole premise of that movie.
Parallel realities. Timeline shifting. It is real because there are different dimensions of reality. And we are attuning to different dimensions via our frequency. And that frequency, it can be cultivated. You know, you can cultivate your frequency. You can actually choose timelines and It is exactly what happened, Jen. I love that you brought that movie, and I hadn't thought about it that way, but it is these parallel realities. I mean, even the astrologer. So there's an astrologer who does astrologer's notes throughout the book.
Mhm.
Basically, it's an astrological commentary on what was happening in my life and how
Mhm.
you can see it reflected in the astrology of that time.
Yeah.
So this is, and whether I was aware of it or not, because
Mhm.
forever I was a total skeptic, critic, not even, I didn't even give astrology enough energy to be called a skeptic or a critic. I just thought it was really unintelligent. Like
Yeah.
that was my, and I knew nothing about it, but I was very ignorant in my knowing nothing about it. Like,
Yeah.
it's embarrassing at this point to think of how like snooty I was about it. Anyways, at the end of the book, she makes the observation that, so in New York, the business that I built was, it was a wireless communication consulting company. That's what I did. I the yellow cabs in New York City that have those screens in the back, if you've
Yeah.
seen those, my company did the wireless enablement for those screens. It's like a claim to fame that I'm not super proud of, but let me just tell you that happened. Now, she goes, "How could the same person have such a different destiny, so it seems?" Because
Mhm.
astrology, like what? Like I went from that to that. And then she goes, "But is it really that different?
Mm.
What is wireless connectivity? We trust that that wireless data, that the internet, we trust that it exists because we use it and we can feel it. Like I'm on it right now. Like you're all
Mhm.
connected
Mhm.
with us right now."
Yeah.
But astrology is essentially wireless communication via the cosmos. It's the same exact thing, but in a parallel reality.
That is so wild.
Isn't that
So
wild?
wild.
It's
Just like
wild.
your lifestyle, and I'm sure your energy must have been so different in New York as well.
Oh my God, my daughters read the book.
Yeah.
My daughter Sophia's like, "Mommy, you were kind of annoying then. Like, you really thought those things? You really said," and I'm like, "Honey, I have been trying to tell you, I am a totally
Mhm.
different person." Like, you would even my partner now, he's like, I tell him some of the stories, and he's just like,
Really?
"What?"
Yeah.
I mean, just
Uh-huh.
floored. So, yes, I mean, but this is where, like, within each of us, there is it's the acorn to the oak tree.
Mhm.
There's an acorn seed inside of every single one of us that is destined to become the oak tree or whatever your version is, the rose, and it's when we like stop nurturing that,
Mm.
when we stop cultivating that and feeding that and fueling that, that we don't feel like we emerge as the version of us who we came here to be.
Yeah.
We feel like
Yeah.
we're living someone else's life, like we have a mask on, like we're playing roles,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
And that is, I hope that people feel inspired to find that within them.
Yeah. And what do you think, like, if someone's listening to this conversation and they're like, "Holy, what?" Because, like, you just painted such a vivid, stark contrast of old you, new you, and also the connection of what you were doing and currently doing. And astrology is obviously the undercurrent of all of this. So if
Yeah,
someone's maybe hedging a little bit about astrology, not really a full believer, is there something that you would encourage them to go do or go look up or go read other
totally.
than your book? Like that's the obvious
Yeah, yeah.
that
Well, I'll
might
tell you,
pull
yeah, I'll tell
them?
you what blew me open.
Yeah, 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 please.
My first reading.
Ah,
So talk about another synchronicity. You guys listen to this. So I had moved to Hawaii from New York. I get a phone call one day from a friend in New York City who says, "I just had this reading with this woman. She's incredible. I really think you would benefit from this."
mhm,
And I'm like, I trusted her. I really trusted her. She's highly discerning. And so for her to say this, I was like, okay, I guess I'll try it. Like, no expectations,
mhm,
zero. I guess I'll try it. She goes, "She's in Hawaii somewhere. I don't know what island, but just look her up." So I look her up. At the time, we first landed on the Big Island.
mhm,
So I'm on Maui now, but we landed on the Big Island. We're there for 2 years. And I look her up and she's on the Big Island. I'm like, oh, wow. Not only is she on the Big Island, but she is 10 minutes down the road from me.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, where we landed on the Big Island is like the middle of nowhere.
Mm.
I mean, like literally, if anybody listening has been to the Big Island, on the Hana side, Pahoa, like literally middle of nowhere. She's 10 minutes down the road from my house.
Oh.
So I set up a reading with her. I have no idea what to expect. I'm kind of afraid, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm like, what if she's going to tell me something bad? What if she's going to like predict some horrible future?
Mhm.
And I expect when the door opens to see the caricature. I expect the kind of gypsy lady with the robes and the scarves on her head and the beads and the whole costume.
Yeah.
She opens the door. First of all, our house is gorgeous, light-filled, elegant, tall ceilings, and she blows me away.
Wow.
She is gorgeous, simply dressed, and like beautiful, just light fabrics. It's Hawaii, it's hot. No costume, just her big, beautiful eyes and her very short cropped dark hair and a huge smile on her face. So welcoming. With her accent I can't place. She makes me a cup of tea. We sit at her kitchen table and she blows me away.
Wow.
With what she knows about me by looking at this little piece of paper with a circle and some squiggly lines all over it. I have no idea what any of it means. And I'm sitting there crying and saying, oh my God, this is my first tangible evidence of God. And I had no idea I would find it at a kitchen table on the Big Island of Hawaii in an astrology reading. Whoa.
Yeah.
So
especially
I would
in comparison to where you had come from.
Yes. Yes. And all the seeking. I mean, I was looking for this God, quote unquote, right?
Wow.
So I would say get a reading. Now, not all astrology readings are like that. Not all astrology readings are equal.
Yeah.
So it's one reason why on our website, we already have vetted astrologers because I'm like, I want people to have a great first experience because I've heard also horror stories of the opposite where because with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
You can really have a reading that is irresponsible and unethical on some level. Now, whether or not the astrologer is aware of that, I don't know. But there's things with it. I've heard people say, this is what the astrologer told me. And it's like, oh, no, that is not the use of astrology that I would ever feel comfortable at all standing down.
Yeah.
You know, so like everything, like, you know, a hammer can be a tool or it can kill someone, right? Like it could be a weapon. So with everything, it's like that. So that's why, you know, really like it's just like you would choose a doctor very carefully, like you would choose a therapist really carefully. It's really finding someone that resonates with you. We have great options on our website, but there's also great astrologers on YouTube or, you know, doing things where you can kind of feel them first before you open up because it is an intimate space.
Yeah. Really. Yeah. I think comparing it to, you know, finding, you know, a healthcare provider of any kind feels very similar. Like you got to have that right vibe match.
Yes, exactly.
Right? I think there's some people who are a little more direct and blunt and some people are a little more soft and everyone has a different preference of that spectrum.
Totally. Some people want the direct, like, tell me, like, I want to like, tell me what you see or, you know, and then the other thing I didn't realize about astrology is there's so many different uses. So you could literally be going to say, I'm considering moving to South Africa. Can you look at my chart in South Africa? Is that a good match for me? But then the question goes even deeper because, okay, so the earth has all these ley lines and all these energetic, you know, frequencies, and those energetic frequencies interact with you and who you are. So depending on what you want to experience, you can choose different places on the planet.
Yeah.
So South Africa might be great for you for your career, but it also may have indicators that it might be challenging for your family. Or vice versa. Or there could be a place on the planet where it's like, wow, this would be an amazing place for you to fall in love. And it might be hard for you to get some work done. You know, so it's like, there's so that's just one example, but that's astro location or astro locality. There's financial, So if you have questions about when to invest, where to invest, what, especially timing, investment
Mhm.
on timing,
Mhm.
long-term, short-term investments, like there's astrologers who specialize,
Yeah.
just like doctors. Like you can't just say doctor.
Yeah.
There's like so many specialists. It's the
Yeah.
same with astrology. There's so many specialists, and they really do use very different tools, very different techniques.
Mhm.
But then there's the ones that really, if the question is more like soul-based,
Yeah.
what am I here to do? Like
Mhm.
what would be an ideal expression for me in terms of career or in terms of just, where do I focus?
Mhm.
There's astrologers that can very they can answer those broad questions, but they're never going to give you a do this.
Yeah.
And if an astrologer says do this, run,
Yeah.
because there are infinite possibilities. Imagine if I had sat down with Natasha and she had said, there's no way she could have said start an astrology business where you interview astrologers and then like it didn't even, I couldn't even conceive of the notion at the time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what she did tell me, which at the time was like, what is, you have a cosmic message to share.
Mm.
And it's not going to be behind the scenes.
Mhm.
Even though you like to be behind the scenes,
Mhm.
that is not where it's going to be. You are going to have to put yourself out there. So already within that reading, I felt like I already had direction.
Mhm. Yeah. You had
But
some.
I was like, I have no idea what cosmic message. This is my first astrology reading. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And like a cosmic message, that sounds crazy. I'm like this fresh off the boat from Manhattan being
Mhm.
told that, just going, whoa. So anyways, I
Yeah.
think you have a great reading.
What period of time lapsed between you having that reading and you starting Astrology Hub?
Okay, so that reading was in 2011. And then I went through a massive breakdown in my life that lasted for like 4 years, more than that. But I started Astrology Hub in the midst of like coming out of that like
Mhm.
breakdown period. So Astrology Hub started in 2015.
Wow.
Just 4 years. I mean, saying 4 years doesn't sound like a lot, but living 4 years
Oh
feels
god,
like a
yeah.
lot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That is so wild. Well, that's a great takeaway is like find a good reading and they can go to astrologyhub.com and find and go through someone who's already been vetted. You don't even have to
Right.
go,
I want to give
randomly.
them a more direct route just in case they get lost there.
Yeah.
I would actually say, well, okay, you could either go to astrologyhub.com/connect, astrologyhub.com/connect, and or you can go to lifebythestars.com
Mhm.
slash resources, because lifebythestars.com basically slash resources is where all the resources from the book that I talk about in the book, where like if you're going, oh, I want to go down that rabbit hole, or I want to go down that rabbit hole, you can find them there. Also, there's a quiz, a matching quiz. So
Oh.
you can take the quiz and then we'll recommend an astrologer to you
Oh,
based on your goals and what you're wanting. So and who you are, just a little bit,
that is so cool.
Yeah.
What a great service versus just kind of like starting off and being like, well, I don't know. I'm just gonna hope for the best.
I didn't want to leave people hanging. It's
Yeah.
like, no, no, because I remember where I was when
Mhm.
I first got into astrology and like, okay, and I had the benefit of then after that first reading becoming dear, dear friends and now
Mm.
complete soul sisters with the woman who
Yeah.
gave me the reading. So
Yeah.
I had the option to like continue exploring with her. And
Yeah.
I know not everybody has that. So it's like, okay, how do I make this as easy as possible for people to continue to get answers to these really important questions,
Mhm.
you know?
I
And
love.
also we have a newsletter, a free newsletter where we're always reflecting the astrology that's happening in the moment and how
Mhm.
to work with that. Like, what is the invitation of the
Mhm.
astrological moment? What might it be eliciting from us? And this is collective. So
Yeah.
then you can see how it's showing up in your life.
Yeah.
So there's so many different ways. You don't have to get a reading. There's a lot of different ways, but
Yeah. Yeah, it gives people different, price point options too, right?
exactly.
Like, so if they can't afford to go do a reading right now, there are plenty of other things they can do.
Exactly.
And I love like your vividness of telling stories just in this conversation clearly is reflected in the book itself. And so my call to action would be go check out your book and get it from lifebythestars.com. So you are, selling your book direct. I'm always in favor of supporting the author directly where possible. Obviously, it's available on other platforms if you would like to purchase it from a retailer. But Amanda, this has been such an awesome conversation. I'm so like excited because sometimes I work with somebody and it's like a really quick process and it doesn't feel as emotional because it's just kind of like very
Yeah.
practical and it just kind of moves through
Yeah.
versus kind of watching the ebbs and flows and everything and how you've gotten here. And while yes, it might feel like 2019 was a long time ago, yes, it is, and it also isn't in the grand scheme of like how long it takes to get a book out.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think for each of us authors, all of you writers, authors, aspiring writers, wherever you're at in the process, trusting the timing because you're becoming a person in the process of writing it, of sharing it, of editing it, of putting all of it together. You're becoming the person who can steward it once it's out in the world. And so trusting that there's things that need to fall into place. There's experiences you need to have. There's realizations you need to have. There's a person you're becoming. And I think that that is one takeaway I have from the whole process. It's like I had my thing and I wanted it done in a certain timeline. It didn't work out that way, but I'm so grateful now because I had hesitation putting this book out there before. I was scared to put it out. I was afraid of what people might say. I was concerned about that. And by the time this book actually got published on May 22nd, I was free from that. I was truly just like, okay, I can do this and I can do this in peace and put it out there and just see what happens and have fun with it, Jen, I want to thank you because you and your guidance and you every single time we got on a call where I had my whole list of questions and my team too, like everyone was like, Jen has been the most, first of all, trusted and knowledgeable sounding board that we've had throughout this entire process. Like the trust level for you with my team is like off the charts because every time we got on the call, you were just clear. You obviously live and breathe this. And it was just so helpful to have you in our corner whenever we needed that guidance. So I'm really grateful for what you're doing and how you're enabling authors to get their work into the world and to do it in a way that I wanted to self-publish, but I didn't want it to look self-published. I didn't want it to feel I wanted it to feel solid. Like, I wanted to feel like it was not like a flimsy thing. And you really helped us make the decisions and guided us toward that. And I'm very grateful for you.
And you followed the advice. That is the key. Like you followed the guidance because your book looks incredible. Like it truly looks incredible.
Jen, I don't do what you do every day. You don't do what I do every day. So I'm going to defer to you. I'm going to trust myself at the end of the day, but like, you're definitely the expert in this. If you need things about astrology or building some kind of company like I've built, I have some things to share, but this is what you do. So this, to me, it's like, yes, please help. But not every person we reached out for help gave us the kind of guidance that you did, where I like really trusted you. So, yeah.
Thank you for saying that. I genuinely appreciate that. And this process has been just incredible from start to finish. And I love the beauty of being in this industry is that there is a tangible byproduct at the end of it. Like there's so many things that people do in life and there isn't anything that's like left behind. And it's like, how amazing is it that I can just sit and like actually curl up and read this, knowing everything I know about you, right? Like that, like, it's just like such an amazing part of this industry.
There's something so different about it. That's been another interesting reflection, Jen, real quick. I know we're wrapping up, but people are excited that you're an author. And I've been like, wow, that's so weird. I've done a lot of things in my life. Like I'm a podcast host. I'm an entrepreneur. I've like done things, but no one responds quite the same as you've written a book. It's like, whoa, there's something still like archetypal for us about being an author, meeting an author, writing a book. There's something like inherent in that feels, I think it's what you're saying. I think it feels tangible. And real. And also it's really hard to do. So I think people are just like, and I think a lot of people want to do it. So when someone actually does it, it's kind of like, oh, wow, you did it.
Yeah. If you look at the numbers of how many people want to versus how many finish it, it's like abysmal. It's like less than 1% of people. And it's just because it's not an easy task emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, like all like it's just not an easy, it's not an easy go.
I used to think people were being a little dramatic when they would be like, "Oh my God, I just published my book and it was this whole process, blah, blah, blah." And now I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
I totally like it was way more than
Yeah.
I thought it would be, which is pretty much true about everything that I
Mhm.
pursue.
Yep.
But this one takes the cake. Like, honestly, I was
Yeah.
like, that's why I thought it could be done in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I have conversations with people all the time and I'm like, I'm going to gently move them off of that opinion, but I can't just have a conversation with you and be like, that's not reasonable. Like, cause it's going to defeat you. Then you're not going to do it at all.
I
So
couldn't have heard
trying
that at
to,
the time. Yeah,
no,
that's
not at
smart,
all.
Jen, because I
Yeah.
couldn't have, and I wouldn't have, and if you told me it would take 3 more years, I might have not done it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So,
everyone's on their own timeline because some people do it in a year and that's great
yeah,
for them, but it's a really small percentage of people who can pull that off.
right. Yeah,
Mhm.
you're amazing if you're able to do that. I was incapable of doing that. Yeah.
You and me both, so I get it.
Yes.
Well, thank you for this. I am so appreciative of you, and I can't wait to actually sit down and read it myself. I always wait until like the end of the process before I read anything that we've done because, like I don't want to spoil it for myself. And you've already given us some real good stories, some juicy stories that I know are going to be in there. So I'm excited to see more.
I didn't spoil it though, I promise. There's a lot more to come. So
Good.
yeah.
Thank
Thank you,
you
Jen.
so much. I'll talk to you very soon.